Hey there, and welcome to another Coastwatch Football Watchalong. My name is Lockie, and tonight we are watching the battle for Western Sydney. Macarthur FC taking on Western Sydney Wanderers, a match that Macarthur really need to win if they want to have any chance of playing finals this year. Western Sydney Wanderers hoping to get 3 points to bounce back after losing at home to Adelaide United last week. Just slipping away a little bit from the top two spots at the moment, Western Sydney Wanderers, especially with the Mariners winning yesterday as well. We're about 15 minutes away from kickoff. And so glad you guys can join me here for this one. Person 1201 is in the chat. As always, hope you're doing well, mate. Lucas is here saying, come on, Western Sydney. Lee Falcon, going well, man. Hope you're going well too. And so glad you guys are here nice and early for this one. Not too long till kickoff. Thoughts on yesterday's performance? Well, that segues nicely into talking about some of the games that we've seen already this round. Of course, Central Coast Mariners, we're repping the Polo. Mariners picking up the 3 points. Not only did we pick up 3 points yesterday, but we picked up our first win in Victoria in a very long time, as well as a clean sheet. So let's have a little sneak peek at some of the results from the round so far. Kicking off yesterday, Mariners 3, West United 0. Mariners 3, West United 0. A big win for Central Coast Mariners, Cummings and Kololo. And Wenzel Halls was his first goal for the Central Coast Mariners. A pretty comprehensive performance in the end, I thought, from the Mariners. West United certainly did have their opportunities, but Dylan Parias looked like their best player. But the game definitely faded away towards the end. Mariners are comfortable winners. In the end, we had a great game as well yesterday as well on Easter Friday, Good Friday. Adelaide United hosting Sydney FC, unable to get the win in this one. Adelaide United holding on. We're hoping to hold on to that Craig Goodwin goal in the second half. But Lafondra scoring late for the Sky Blues. A big point for Sydney FC, who a lot of people were thinking potentially, they could potentially slip out with some teams gaining on them from the bottom six. Look, and a really fascinating results, especially when you look at the stats here. I mean, just 7 shots for Adelaide, 14 for Sydney FC. The Sky Blues, this has sort of been the case for them this season. I just want to quickly touch on this game. They seem to do this a lot where they go through some really rough patches where they're really not playing well. Losing. You think back just a few weeks ago, they got smashed in the Sydney Derby, 4-0. And, going to a place like Cooper Stadium, Adelaide United. And my prediction for this game, you might have seen the round predictions video we did a couple days ago here on the channel. I think I said, like 3-0 to Adelaide United. You'd think surely Adelaide was going to cruise through in this game. Sydney FC coming up big in this game to get a draw, a valuable point, which could, in the grand scheme of things, be a big point for them, that's for sure. And then, speaking of 3-0 wins, another 3-0 win this round. Brisbane Roar, Newcastle Jets. 3-0 for the Roar. Really poor performance overall from Newcastle. I think that was the big takeaway for me from this game. They were really struggling to put any cohesive, dangerous attacking move together. You can see there in the stats, just the one shot on target for Newcastle. And it's disappointing too, because you think just a week ago, or less than a week ago now, I mean, Newcastle Jets were on the verge of defeating ladder leaders Melbourne City away from home. But Brisbane Roar, a clutch 3-0 win, which could potentially, well, at the moment, it still keeps them in the fight for the finals. So, man, it's really interesting. It's really interesting seeing how the ladder is shaping up. Let's have a little sneak peek at it now. What's our current time? We've got about 10 minutes until kickoff here in the battle for Western Sydney. This is how the ladder's looking at the moment. Really, look how tight it's getting to for this chase for this spot. Big point for Sydney FC, takes them to 29. Perth Glory, who play Victory tomorrow, 27 points. A win for Glory will take them into the top 6. We've got Brisbane Roar, who have now jumped off the bottom of the table. 3 teams at the moment level on 26 points. Roar, Jets, Western, all suffering from inconsistency this season, as has one of tonight's sides, Macarthur FC. 25 points. A win for Macarthur will be a much-needed boost, again, putting them back just to the edge of the finals there. Victory desperately need a win tomorrow against Glory to keep them inside the fight. But look, there's still a few weeks of football left. Anything can happen. Any of these teams could finish anywhere. Before this weekend, I was well and truly expecting Brisbane to pick up the wooden spoon. But yeah, man, What do you guys make of it so far? What do we make of it? I've got Elite Falcon talking about the Golden Boot, and of course Cummings bagging another goal yesterday. Cummings to overtake J-Mac, I reckon. He's chasing. He's really chasing hard at the moment, and it's certainly a possibility. Certainly a possibility. Jamie's in the chat says, "Do you think Glory will beat Victory and make it to the top 6?" My prediction in the prediction video that I did for this week, I said 2-2 draw. It's a hard one to call. Glory have struggled away from home this season, as they usually do. But this is a Melbourne Victory side who, despite losing the derby, Melbourne Victory, despite losing the derby during midweek, I think should get the result here. But Glory, the target for Glory, heading into this game, they're seeing now the window open for them for top 6. And they've been outside the top 6 for much of the campaign. Ruben Zakovic's side, massive chance, massive opportunity for Perth Glory. But I'm saying a draw. I'm saying a sneaky draw for Perth Glory and Melbourne Victory tomorrow. And then of course we've got Melbourne City, Wellington, Phoenix Monday, which will be a big game as well. In terms of the way the top 6 looks, so many talking points still across the A-League. As one thing that you notice, I'm just noticing now, looking at the top 6, you can see a lot of space starting to be created. Some of those gaps might tighten up a little bit after tonight's result. But you can see here, I mean, Melbourne City now 4 points clear on the top. With the game in hand, should be said, on Adelaide United. Mariners 37, Wanderers 34, Wellington 31, Sydney on 29. There's some real gaps starting to appear here. So if Wanderers have hopes of finishing top 2, they really want to get a result in this game. Because obviously you want to finish in that top 2. Those are the spots you want to avoid the elimination finals. We've got a comment here from Person 12-1. Just thoughts on Macarthur's season. I was very excited about their team at the start of the season. A lot of people were, and I got a comment on it on the predictions video as well. Similar comment talking about Macarthur, and I feel like this is the case with them. They always similar thing with them, and with many sides across the league. I think there's a similar thing about Newcastle heading into this season. Teams look really good on paper and never seem to tie it together. I think one of the big catalysts for Macarthur's downfall this season, or poor performances, was probably the change in the coaching department. Obviously, everything that went on with Dwight York, Milos Stojowski coming in and doing, a decent job. He's grabbed some results here and there, but overall hasn't quite managed to turn things around at Macarthur, and it's disappointing. Injuries have been hurting them of late. Devere out, Azani out for the season. They've been losing some key personnel, and their lineup is one of those lineups that just keeps chopping and changing, and it's hard to predict, who's going to be starting for them. And speaking of Macarthur's lineup, let's have a look at the lineups for tonight's game. We are just over 5 minutes away from kickoff. Macarthur FC, West Sydney Wanderers. Macarthur FC starting with quite a fascinating lineup. We've got Jones coming into the lineup, as is Oglar up top, alongside Lockie Rose. But aside from that, I mean, Matt Miller has been one of the standout players for Macarthur this season at right back. Philip Curto, solid as always in goals. McGing, Aspropotomides, Vujitsa there as well. Bacchus, De Silva, Holman, all midfielders who have been ever present for Macarthur for much of this season, but Danny De Silva, who's missed much of the campaign through injury. For the West Sydney Wanderers, mostly a pretty similar lineup, just a couple of changes here and there. Of course, Marcelo out through suspension, so Tom Beadling comes back into the back line. Aiden Simmons continues at right back, Callum Neuenhoff and Schneiderlin in the midfield. Ninkovic and Amalfitano expected to start higher up at the park behind Layuni and Borello. So we could probably expect Layuni to maybe play left wing, Amalfitano up on the right wing, Ninkovic playing in behind Borello. That's probably the expected sort of setup, we can say, I reckon, heading into this game. But drop your predictions in the chat. What's your predictions for this game? I'm going for a Wanderers win. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Wanderers. They are the better side at the moment and should get the 3 points to turn things around after that disappointing loss at home last week. A few minutes till kickoff. Lee Falcon. Excuse me, Lee Falcon says Melbourne City haven't been in the best of form recently. Will they start dropping points now? I don't think so. I think they will hold on to top spot. I think that 4-point gap is going to be too much for Adelaide to catch. I think Melbourne City will hold on. I think they'll get the win on Monday against Wellington. Falcon says 4-0 Wanderers. I could certainly see it happening. They've dominated the earlier meetings this season between the two sides. Both teams coming up to the pitch now. Good to see Wanderers in their what is that? Their third kit. The green one, the dark green one, which I actually don't mind. Who's going to be the star man to step up in this game? Liuni in good form, as is Barella. Dangerous players all over the park for Western Sydney Wanderers. Overall, just a stronger squad. You got to say. Rose skipper, is he? Oh, he is too. According to the broadcast, he is. Lockie Rose wearing the captain's armband by the looks of things. Lockie Rose has been a welcome inclusion to this Macarthur side in recent weeks. Fantastic player. Scored away to Perth Glory last week. If Macarthur are going to get something out of this game, you'd expect it to be through Lockie Rose. Person 1201 in the chat says, I think the A-League need Wanderers to do well to build momentum again. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, we obviously think back to the early 2010s, 2012 when Wanderers first came into the A-League, and there was just so much excitement around the league. And Wanderers were driving that with their fantastic fan base and the active support. Falcon says Leone has been the best signing this season. He's been up there. And it's a big statement too, because he was a mid-season signing. He only arrived in January. Yeah, man. Well-behaved Wilson. Huge fan of yours, Cosford Football. Thanks, man. Are you still with the Mariners? No, I stepped down from the Mariners last year. But I had a great time working there at the club. We're ripping the Mariners, ripping the polo today. Another look at our lineup before we head into this game. Couple moments away from kickoff. Battle of Western Sydney. Macarthur taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. Lockie Rose wearing the captain's armband. We'd love to see it. A player who was stuck around for the first 3 seasons of Macarthur FC's existence, becoming a bit of a cult figure down at southwestern Sydney. Morgan Schneiderlin in midfield for Western Sydney today. Hasn't necessarily started every game, Morgan Schneiderlin. Miloš Ninkovic. Was Ninkovic wearing the captain's armband just then? There you go. Interesting. I don't think we've seen Ninkovic wear the captain's armband this season. I could be wrong. Thank you, well-behaved Wilson. Appreciate it. Person 1201, do you think Macarthur will remain an A-League team within 5 years? Yes. Big yes. A big thing that we should say that I just want to say, because I know there's obviously a lot of talk around like the new teams and their stance in the A-League. We should remember these teams are only a few years old. They're early on in their existence, and I think I totally understand the sentiment that like that that maybe they shouldn't be in the league because they're not necessarily bringing in the fans or having the success. Should be remembered. I mean, Macarthur won the Australia Cup last year. We saw, seeing Western Sydney Wanderers and their first year in the league it was always going to be hard to replicate that. That was such like a massive thing, right? That was such a massive thing. So I think we just had this sort of subconsciously had this expectation that maybe Western United and Macarthur were going to have sort of like, that was sort of the bar, you know what I mean? Western Sydney Wanderers came in like that was the bar for new teams. And it's not always going to be the case. So I'm very much of the opinion that we have to keep these clubs afloat, keep these clubs thriving, and allow these clubs to grow, because we need that. We need that. We need more. We need more building each other up rather than tearing each other down if we want to grow this league. So that's my stance on it. How is Rose captain? Well, I guess he's in that squad. If we pull up the squad again, he's probably the squad that's one of the players who's been there at the club the longest, right? I'm trying to think of a player. I mean, Jake McGing has been there all 3 seasons, hasn't he? But between, I think it's McGing and Rose who have just been there the longest. So I guess he's the longest serving player at Macarthur, or one of them at least, in the starting lineup. Opening couple minutes, Wanderers in possession. Looking to have a positive start to this game. Wanderers will be fresh in their minds. That loss to Adelaide United. Disappointing loss for Wanderers at home. Big game. They lost out. Disappointing for their fans. And I'm sure, of course, plenty of Wanderers fans at this game. Keep an eye out for them, the top left-hand corner of the broadcast. Wanderers fans in the away bay. Did a matchday vlog for Macarthur Wanderers last season. Check it on the channel if you haven't seen it. Camera. Bralock in the chat asks, do you think the headlock was worth the red? Yes, big yes, easy yes. One of the easiest red cards in A-League history for me. And have we heard the official how many weeks he's going to miss? I haven't heard anything. There was talk that it was going to be heaps, but I don't think there's been an official suspension yet. But I think the talk was it was going to be at least 4 weeks, which means he'd miss out all the way till finals. Barilla with an early header. Easy save for Kodo. Only a few minutes in. 3 minutes into this game. This could be one of those deceptive games where everyone would expect Wanderers to win, but Macarthur FC could step up here. They often do that. They'll just randomly show up and win for a big 3 points here and there. Daly's in here. How's it going, Daly? Brock on Marcelo's suspension says, I heard 6 weeks, but that's probably not correct. It could be that. It could well be that. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be disappointed if it was 6 weeks. His actions on the field was something we never want to see. I don't think it's acceptable in any format. Just seeing this comment from Mr. T just before regarding Marcelo's headlock. Says, yes, Brock, headlock is a red. As a Western City Wanderers fan, I can't defend it. Don't think anyone can defend it, eh? Daly is in the chat, says, I go for Sydney FC. Watching as 2 rival sides tonight, Wanderers and Macarthur played out. Wanderers looking to get on the attack here. Ogla on the left. Vuitza with a cross. Decent ball. Look at those Wanderers fans in the away bay. Looking strong. Away bay's looking strong. Of course, one of the shorter trips for Western Sydney Wanderers. Shorter away days. I've been down to Campbelltown Stadium a couple of times. It's actually a decent ground. I know it gets a bit of cops a bit of crap, but it's not that bad of a stadium. It would probably this tonight will probably be its you'd think the biggest attendance, right? Plenty of Wanderers fans there in the away bay. Ogla to whip in a corner for Macarthur with his left boot. 5 minutes past on my broadcast. Decent ball, but it's headed away. Nikovic to work it clear. Wanderers trying to pass their way out. Schneiderlin. This is a classy Wanderers side. They really, on paper, they should get the win. Well-behaved Wilson. I'm just going to call you Wilson for short. I hope that's all right. What did you think of Redan using Marcellus Favela upbringing as an excuse? It wasn't surprising because regardless of what's going on at West Sydney Wanderers, Rudan will defend it. He's very passionate about his side, his players, and the club, which is great to see. And I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, you can't really defend it, can you? There's not much you can say. Wanderers coming forward in the right-hand side. Nice run by Simmons. Macarthur able to break it down. And they can come forward. Tonight, big game for Macarthur FC especially. They're slipping down the ladder. What are they, second last now? Second last after Brisbane won today. A win would be huge for Mile Stajovski's side. 6.5 minutes on my broadcast. What were your thoughts on the Matildas' performance as person 1201? It was frustrating, and the result was frustrating as well. Not able to find the back of the net as Macarthur play a cross in here. Far post goes over the head of Traore. Here's a chance for Miller. Decent number of Macarthur shirts in the box. Another delivery hung up. Looks like they come away with it here. Matilda's performance was disappointing overall. Missing Kerr, missing Ford. No Steph Catley at left back. But great to see Carpenter back, right? That was one of the main things. Matildas are so good. They are fantastic. And we're hoping Matildas can have a fantastic World Cup campaign in a couple months' time. Make sure you stay tuned to Coastwatch Football for plenty of Women's World Cup content. Not too long. It's around the corner, man. It's coming in quickly, Women's World Cup. Looks like Macarthur here just pulling up the graphic for the lineups. Macarthur here potentially playing a back five. And it does sort of appear to be that way when you look at the lineup. Holman, De Silva, Bacchus in that midfield. Are all those players going to play against England? I assume you're talking about the injuries that I mentioned. The players that missed out, like Catley, Kerr, Ford. We'll have to wait and see, hey? Have to wait and see how they pull up. But I expect some changes overall to the lineup. Yeah. What NRL team do you go for? I don't follow the NRL. Just the A-League, watch a bit of AFL. But don't follow the NRL. Wanderers, we know, are a solid side in defence, best defence in the league this season. This Macarthur side, who are missing some players in attack. Will they have enough to break him down? This is a good run down the right-hand side by Borello, who's still going. Great run, Borello. Runs out of real estate, and it's a clearance. Ooh. Brock says Cromer is the Robbie Cruz of the Matildas. I see where you're coming from there. Spencer's in the chat. Spencer's here and says, how about them Brisbane boys? Spencer, Brisbane Roar fan, very happy about this Brisbane Roar 3-0 win over Newcastle Jets to keep their season alive, to lift them off the bottom of the table. That was a great result for Brisbane. Great result for Brisbane Roar. What do you guys make of this Wanderers third kit? What's your honest thoughts on it? I actually really like it. I think it looks really clean. That was a long-range strike, trying to catch Thomas off, and a cheeky little smile from Lawrence Thomas following Lockie Rose's strike and goal. My broadcast here just ticking past 10 minutes. 10 minutes into this game. Both teams just getting a feel for the match. Nothing too risky so far. Down the right-hand side now, Leuni for Wanderers. Macarthur so far looking solid enough in defence. You want to keep an eye on Brandon Burlow, who's having a fantastic season for Wanderers. Barry's in the chat, says Yo Coast Watch. How you going, Barry? Good to see you here. Was Lockie Rose from the New South Wales MPL? Great question. I'm actually not sure. Does someone know? I think so. Someone check. Where was Lockie Rose before Macarthur? He was obviously there in their inaugural season. Now wearing the captain's armband for his side. Decent turnout at Campbelltown Stadium. We're usually used to seeing it a little bit more, quite a few more empty seats in that far grandstand from the broadcaster's point of view. But it's filling up all right. And the near side is usually filled up pretty well as well. Tan Lee's in the chat says, why Macarthur playing so defensive? Probably a bit of a cautious start, I reckon, for Macarthur. They don't want to get blown out of the water early on, as they have previously this season against Wanderers. So, yeah, they're just taking it easy so far, aren't they? Don't want to do anything too risky. Don't want to leave themselves exposed to the back. And as long as they can keep themselves in this game, Macarthur FC, they're a chance. They're a chance to win. Hey, Barry's in the chat. Says, I just got a new screen so I can watch you and the game at the same time. That's fantastic. Multitasking. We love it. We're all about multitasking here at Coastal Football. Whether it's watching multiple games at once or watching the Coast Watch live or watch alongs at the same time. Love to hear it, Barry. Thanks for tuning in as always too. If you're enjoying the stream so far, almost half an hour in to the stream, that is, make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate it. MPL 2. Apparently, Lockie Rose was playing that before he joined up with Macarthur FC. "14 minutes into the game on my broadcast. Western Sydney Wanderers 0, Macarthur FC 0. Wanderers starting to really control possession now. No Marcelo at the back. They don't have that leadership from the back that Marcelo provides this match. Traore, nice pass inside. Oh, that's a really neat pass. Too much. It was the right idea. Amalfitano trying to sneak it in behind for Borello. Amalfitano looks like he's playing off that left wing. Leone on the right. They're just showing in the broadcast a shot of the bench, the Wanderers bench, which is looking super strong. I mean, Cassini, Yengi, and Bikoto, Oli Bozanic there as well, Nicholas Milanovic. They've got some options on the bench, Wanderers. I mean, you got options on the bench when you got Oli Bozanic, just chilling out on the bench, right? Thoughts on the AUFC game last night? I've been meaning to catch the replay of it. I saw the first half, and I'm going to watch the replay still. But I was surprised with the result. Considering heading into this game that Adelaide was sort of obviously red hot with their form. But credit to Sydney FC, from what I saw, we're really holding their own, and defensively we're a lot tighter at the back. So credit to Sydney FC to come away with a point, but probably a disappointing result in the end for Adelaide United. Sydney FC with more shots on goal as well throughout the game. Fondry with that late one. Brendan's in the chat, says hi from Singapore. Hello, Brendan. Thanks for tuning in. Amor Layuni down the right for Simmons. Good ball. Cleared away now. Macarthur. 16 minutes into this game, defending decently well so far. Blake's in the chat, says Sydney good once Burgess and Lolly got on the ball, but the rest of the performance was poor. Story of the season, as it has been. Yeah, I mean, Lolly has been very good this season overall. I mean, he's grabbed his goals here and there. Burgess has been solid as well. But yeah, inconsistency has let the Sky Blues down. But there could be a really valuable point for them, for Sydney, to keep them afloat in the race for finals. Valhoon asks, with the season being so close, do you think the APL dropped the ball with not having games, not having simultaneous kickoffs in the final round? I don't think so. We're going to come back to that because Borello's strike is going to go out for a corner for Wanderers. I don't think so on the final round. I mean, they don't usually do that. Having said that, there is a simultaneous kickoff happening in the final round on Friday. And funnily enough, it's going to make it's a really exciting one too, because we've got the top four sides, well, as it stands, playing off at the same time on Friday night. It's Adelaide, Adelaide Mariners and Melbourne City Wanderers on the final Friday of the season. So there is sort of happens to work out that they're the top four sides. Corner for Wanderers is an easy one for Curto to claim. It'd be great though. I think the simultaneous kickoff thing would be an exciting idea to explore. But I don't think I can say that they've dropped the ball. It's not really something they usually do anyway. Would you guys be keen for that? Let me know in the chat. Would you be keen for like a simultaneous kickoff in the final round? It obviously makes sense for something like the Premier League, as Lockie Rose, his strike is easily saved by Thomas. The Premier League, where there is no finals, the English Premier League. But I guess it's not as big of a deal here because we do have the finals, But it'd be cool, regardless. I think it was last stream or last weekend. We did a watch along for the Melbourne Derby midweek about a Magic round. A lot of people seemed keen for a potential idea of a Magic round. It might have been one of you guys who suggested it. I can't remember who suggested it. Blake says yes, around the grounds. It would be good, wouldn't it? It would be good. Torrens in the chat says, "Hey, look, are you streaming the old firm after this? Not after this. I'll catch a bit of the old firm, but won't be streaming it. Keeping an eye on all the A-League action that's underway." Macarthur FC, West Sydney Wanderers 0-0 so far, almost 20 minutes into this game. There was a slight penalty shout there. Aiden Simmons going down to the box. Dude, I tell you what, on replay, that looks like a penalty. That's a penalty for me. Aspar Potamides taking out Aiden Simmons. That's a penalty. Aspar Potamides is nowhere near the ball. And does it play on? 12:01 on the chat says penalty surely. And have we just passed it? Have we just glossed over it? Brock agreeing as well in the chat says that's a pen. It's bizarre to see the VAR didn't even have any interest in that. I mean, that looked like a clear penalty. It wasn't just a shoulder-to-shoulder. Aspar Potamides came over and took out Aiden Simmons. Aiden Simmons would have collected that ball and kept going if Aspar Potamides didn't come and interrupt him. Well, Macarthur might have dodged one there. Nick in the chat says, has the grand final been confirmed to be in Western Sydney yet, or are there still rumours? Yeah, I've been seeing a couple of things across the socials that looks like it might be Combank Stadium. So I think I don't know. It's not confirmed. But by the looks of things, it might be Combank Stadium, which will be interesting. Mr. T says the simultaneous kickoffs won't happen until the clubs own their stadiums. Too many NRL or rugby teams that share stadiums. That is a good point. That is actually very fair point. "21 minutes into the broadcast for me. Western Sydney Wanderers nil. Macarthur FC nil. Pretty decent turnout at Campbelltown Stadium for this one. Good to see. Good to see. Said it before, but I'll say it again. It's important that Macarthur FC, I know a lot of people aren't happy about their existence in the A-League, but they're here now. And for the benefit of the league overall, we need these new teams to grow and to thrive. And there's a strong football fan base down there in the southwest of Sydney. Hopefully they can really get on board with this Macarthur FC team. Brock talking about some Socceroos stuff. Socceroos should never have played at Marvel a few Tuesdays ago. If you can't get Amy Park, move the game elsewhere. Marvel sucks. Was there a reason why they couldn't play at Amy Park? Was there a reason? I wasn't sure. But especially considering what the attendance was, 26,000, something like that. I mean, that at Amy Park would have been epic, right? I was surprised. Shot long range from Wanderers goes wide. Dama Traore, his strike just goes wide of Philip Curto's goal. No real clear-cut chances as of yet, has it been? A few long-range strikes, half a penalty shot for Western Sydney Wanderers. Dama Traore, he had to take a shot from long range, which went wide. There we go. Apparently Amy Park doing maintenance. There you go. So couldn't have happened anyway, but that would have been great. That would have been great. Runners for the World Cup, says Valhoon. Always been meaning to get down to Amy Park. I've never been. Wanderers winning the ball in the middle of the park. Lyuni coming forward with the ball. Barella flicking it back. Nice play, Wanderers. Ninkovic. Lyuni. Chance for Wanderers. Strike is blocked. Well done, Vujica. Ivan Vujica has been busy at left back for Macarthur this game. Lyuni looking dangerous. The Tunisian international. More Lyuni. Elite Falcon in the chat just a few moments ago said, called him the signing of the season, Lyuni. Big call for someone who just arrived a few months ago. Corner for Western Sydney. Schneiderlin's delivery is good. Far post. I said it's good, then I missed everyone. Wanderers, it's still on for him. Ninkovic. Too close to Curto. Macarthur survive again. We are 24 minutes into this game. Wanderers looking dangerous, more dangerous out of the two sides, but unable to really fashion a clear strike on goal just yet. I agree with you, person 1201 in the chat says, I hope Socceroos games are more shared around instead of just Sydney and Melbourne. Yeah, 100% agree. Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane. I'm sure we'll see some, hopefully, small friendlies down the line. Hopefully, we see some, or qualifiers. We'll see at some a variety of stadiums. I did see Cooper Stadium solid the other day. That was fantastic for Adelaide United. Super crowd at Cooper Stadium yesterday. Nick of the chat says, "Who's one player you thought would be coming out in the A League, but never quite made it?" Mine's Corey Gamera before he got injured. It's injured long term at Sydney FC. Yeah, Corey Gamera was one of those players who had a lot of potential. Hey, never quite hit it. For me, I mean, just thinking about my team, Mariners, maybe Cy Goddard, who was at the club last season and arrived with like a lot of hype, really talented player. But injury unfortunately didn't help him. Adelaide United, 14,000 over had like 14,500 people there, says Barry. Great to see. Great to see from the Reds fans. And well deserved. Adelaide been playing some good football. Here's Macarthur on the attack again. Long ball, switching out to the right-hand side. Simmons can't keep that in. Macarthur, so far, defensive structure has been looking all right. Not letting Wanderers sneak behind. And we have another look here at the lineup. Did appear initially to be a back five. Looks like in the actual game does appear to just be the back four. Chance here for Wanderers. Cross comes in, headed away by Asperopodomedes. Macarthur come away. Oh, dude, that's a solid challenge. And it's a free kick. And a yellow card for, I believe, Callum Neuenhoff. Or was it Michela? First yellow card of the game. Who committed the foul? Was a strong dude. That challenge from Marcelo was strong. Was there a tug of the shirt before then? Definitely a foul by Michela for me. Bringing down his opponent. Looks like he was the one that picked up the yellow. Nick says, I haven't kept up with Macarthur too much this year. Is Arzani injured or just out of form? Both. He has been out of form much of this season. But yeah, he's out with injury for the rest of the campaign. Can't remember exactly what it was. I think it might have been an ankle or a knee thing. But yeah, he's out for the rest of the season. But yeah, Arzani's really struggled this season. He hasn't even been starting many games. He's been on the bench for many matches this season. And obviously, he returned to Australia with a lot of expectation around him that he could come back and turn his career around after some difficult years overseas. But yeah, he hasn't had the best of times at Macarthur FC. He struggled to really cement a place in the lineup. Wanderers coming forward down the right-hand side again, the side that they have favoured more often than not this match. Indeed, I think it was. Yeah, much of his overseas run was indeed injury-ridden, which is a shame. He's got so much talent, Daniel Arzani. We want to see it on show. Wanderers, Schneiderlin, his shot was blocked. Macarthur looking to go on the counter-attack again. Jakey Holman down the left, has some space. Pass for Rose is good. Rose has used his pace to get him behind there. This is a chance for Macarthur. Holman inside the box, goes down. Didn't look like a penalty for me on first look, and referee agreed. Jakey Holman, can't believe it. Good run. Good run. Nice move from the Bulls, though. Good counter-attack. Is there any hope for Arzani's career? I think so. Look, there's no doubt he's got talent. His technical ability is very good. I hope he stays another year. He sticks around again at Macarthur FC, and hopefully, with if he can escape injury, can have a better season next time around. But yeah, he's still relatively young, you know. Yeah. Thoughts on Nestor or Aaron Konda? One of the best youngsters in the A League this season, without a doubt. And could potentially find himself overseas next season. I'd like to see Aaron Kunda stay one more year, but I also wouldn't be surprised if someone takes him overseas. next season. Wanderers. Again, their attack breaks down. So we're half an hour into this match. Macarthur FC 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. So far, the Bulls staying strong. My score prediction for this game was 3-1 for Wanderers, and so far, it's not heading that way at all. And the longer it stays this way at 0-0, the more it favours Macarthur FC. They've got good players on the bench as well, Macarthur FC, actually. But good players on both benches tonight. Alhoon says, hopefully he starts more next season. I assume you're talking about Iwan Kunda. I'd be interested to see Iwan Kunda start. It's a similar sort of thing with Garen Kowal, where they're sort of both impact players. You know, their value is really highlighted when they're making an appearance off the bench. So it would be interesting to see. Here comes Macarthur FC. Long range strike was probably the wrong idea for Lockie Rose, who's been Macarthur's best attacking outlet so far this match. But Lockie Rose's strike goes wide again. Nice pass from Danny De Silva to set it up. Sliding it into the feet of Rose. Shot stats on the broadcast so far. 3 shots for Macarthur, 5 for Wanderers. Just the 1 shot on target so far for the Wanderers out of 5. "32 minutes passed on the broadcast for me. Lyuni again down the right. That was an interesting decision, but it's still on. Chance Wanderers. Strike blazes wide. It's Amalfitano. They are really looking to exploit Vujatsa through the pace of Lyuni. Wanderers down the right-hand side. You could see it again there. Lyuni just gone. Vujatsa really struggling to contain Lyuni at the moment, and ball fell for Amalfitano, who didn't have his shooting boots on there. Nick says, unfortunate not to see Gabriel Clerc playing. Really enjoyed watching him apart from the Sydney derby. Yeah, Gabby Clerc has had a really good season for West Sydney Wanderers. I believe he's been out through injury for the last few weeks. Aiden Simmons, the youngster, doing a decent job at right back in his place. Exactly. Coming back to Aaron Corndy, Barry says here, yes, I think he's really good when the other team is tired because he just beats them all. That's simply, I mean, you put it simply, Barry, but that's right on the money. When the other team gets exhausted, chuck Aaron Kunda on, and he works his wonders, works his magic. So the pattern of the game really starting to show now. Wanderers with the bulk of possession. Brandon Barella pushed wide again, which it's not the first time that's happened. And they have to go back. Macarthur FC happy just to sort of set up, keep their shape, stay solid. You can really see now from this wide shot here, almost 34 minutes into the broadcast, sort of a 4-4-2 defensive setup for Macarthur FC. Macarthur have won the ball high up the park here, and there could be a chance here for the Bulls as it breaks down. But Macarthur are the underdogs in this game, man. I kind of want them to get a result, maybe just because I'm a Mariners fan and I'm biased. But, you know, I want to make sure Wanderers don't win so they don't catch my Mariners. But love to see Macarthur get a result here. You know, they're the little brother when it comes to the 3 Sydney teams, obviously. They are absolutely the little brother. And you'd love to see them get a win here. Would make for a really exciting chase for that 6th spot on the ladder. Lyuni's gathered the ball in a good position. Borello missed again. Western Sydney Wanderers really starting to get some decent chances. Borello misses. Let's have a look at this replay. Lyuni again, man. He's getting everything going his way so far, Lyuni. And he did the right thing. Drew it back. Looked for his teammate. Borello was there, and he skies it. The scores remain 0-0. Thanks to Borello's miss. Nick says Borello has to keep that down. Indeed. Great chance for Western Sydney to open the scoring in this game. Simmons wins the ball half the park. Borello now feeding it back for Simmons. On the right-hand side. Borello has to go back. And Lockie Rose wins the ball. Wayward pass from Borello. And that's a foul for sure. And probably a yellow card here through the back of Danny De Silva. Jess Van Stratton, the goalkeeping coach for Wanderers, who loves to have a chat to the referee, is going off at the moment, and the yellow card is out for who was it with the foul? Was it Liuni? Was it Schneiderlin? Definitely looked like a foul for me. And let's have a look at the replay. Yeah, yellow card. I mean, he just clattered into the back of De Silva there, so can't see anything wrong with that. Morgan Schneiderlin into the book. 100%, Nick. I got to agree with this one. Anyone's game if Macarthur keep this 0-0 at halftime, 100%. The longer this game stays at 0-0, really favours Macarthur, who with the pace of Lockie Rose up top on the counter attack, could snatch a late one. I could totally see it happening. So, and so far it's going to plan for Macarthur. Here come the Bulls down the left-hand side. Ivan Vujica. Time for Macarthur to build up from the back. It's Jones playing at centre back alongside Aspropotomides for Macarthur. Interesting to see Matt Miller on the left wing. You can see Matt Miller wearing number 44 for Macarthur. Playing out at left wing, usually the right back for Macarthur FC. Macarthur perhaps looking for a bit more pace down the left-hand side. The way it looks now for Macarthur, it almost does look like a 3 at the back. With Matt Miller maybe playing as the left wing back tonight. Perhaps McGing as the right wing back. Person 1201, I just want to come back to this chat that you mentioned a couple of moments ago. Do you think the fact that Kowal didn't have enough opportunity to start in the A-League is the reason he's struggling in Scotland? I don't think so. I can't see any correlation there. Kowal showed his value from his appearances off the bench, of course. And from what it sounds like in Scotland, he's not quite playing in the position that really suits him. He's been playing a more of a midfield role from what it sounds like. And I think it's too early to freak out. I see a lot of people sort of freaking out about this Kowal sort of like not performing well in Scotland. I mean, he's still 18 years old. I mean, he's still so young. He's playing overseas for the first time. We have to give him time. You know, we have to give him time to learn, to grow, to develop. And look, he's still obviously contracted at Newcastle United. Hopefully, he can see himself playing in the Premier League one day. Here's the chance for West Sydney Wanderers. Breaks down again. Macarthur have a few players free here on the left-hand side. This is Jake Holman who can feed Matt Miller. Miller down the left. Oglar in the center, as is Lockie Rose looking for Rose. Header is easy enough to save for Lawrence Thomas. Tanley says, Danny De Silva hype like Arzani? I assume you're asking if was the Danny De Silva hype like the Arzani hype? Yeah, sort of similar. I feel like the Arzani hype was bigger. But yeah, you remember Danny De Silva, jumping onto the scene as a teenager at Perth Glory several years ago now. There was some hype around it, but I feel like Arzani, especially because Arzani was obviously involved in the 2018 World Cup. There was so much hype around him. Nick says, off topic, but I swear can make a compilation of all the headers Sutar's missed so far for Leicester. There you go. Can't say I've been watching every Leicester game so far this season, but for Harry Sutar. But we hope Harry Sutar is enjoying his time at the Foxes in England. Wanderers have picked up a free kick here. Miller with a foul. 40 minutes have ticked past, so we're entering the final stages of this half. Aiden Simmons was brought down. Looks like a foul to me. Miller into the back of Simmons. Bit of an unnecessary foul. Simmons was running backwards there. But this is a good position for Western Sydney Wanderers. Looks like they'll cross it in. Morgan Schneiderlin stepping up for it. What can Schneiderlin produce here? The Frenchman delivers. Far post. Dude, that's a great ball. Did Koto just get a hand to that? How did a Wanderers player not head that? Still on for the Wanderers. Ninkovic. Wanderers. Still plenty of Wanderers players in the box. And it's, dude, unmarked at the far post was Liuni. The long range strike is in. Wanderers have scored through Borrello. The pressure has built up to this point late in the first half. Wanderers away base going off. Brandon Borrello has a goal. Another goal for Brandon Borrello. Fantastic long-range strike. The RBB is bouncing. Philip Curto's beaten. It's been a solid defensive half of football for Macarthur SC, but Borrello, the ball fell to him edge of the box, and that was a fantastic finish. Joel says after all those misses, he scores a beauty. Indeed. Ball came out to Borrello. Good control. Dude, 2 touches. One touch to bring it down in midair, and then takes the strike, keeps it low and hard. The celebration, the little the belly slide on the grass. I think he did a similar celebration at the Mariners away, didn't he? Borrello scored a goal in each of his 3 games against Macarthur FC this season, according to the broadcast. Wanderers have a late goal here in this first half, which makes the rest of the game a little bit more interesting. Macarthur, who have been doing okay so far. Defensively, it looked all right. They now have to chase the game. The Bulls at home. There's extra incentive for Macarthur. They really want to win here if they want to stay in contention for the finals. If they lose here, they won't mathematically be out, but it'll be difficult. There's only 3 games remaining after this one. Macarthur 0, Wanderers 1. And all of a sudden, Macarthur SC now pushing Wanderers back. You can see Wanderers, look how far they've dropped back here, Western Sydney Wanderers. All their players inside the defensive third already. That's a neat little pass from Bacchus, and the second pass just breaks down for Bulls. Borrello better than McLaren, asks Stanley. It's a good question. Good question. I want to get everyone in the chat. I want to get your opinion. Do you think Borrello is better than McLaren? I mean, I feel like this debate comes up a lot. I mean, McLaren is just consistently leading the goal scoring charts. But is Borrello a better player than McLaren? I think this season, yeah. Yeah, he gets way more involved in the play. And technically, overall, I think probably a better player this season has been great. So if I had to pick, I'd probably say Borrello. Liuni wins the ball. Still going. He wanders. Borrello's down the right. There's a chance here. There's an unmarked play at the back. It's Ninkovic, and it's just missed him. Wanderers could have had 2 there, which would have been huge. Valhoon says RBB bouncing. Strong numbers in the RBB tonight in the away bay. Nick says, well, Borrello seems to have done more for the Socceroos than McLaren has. Brandon Borrello, of course, getting on the score sheet in that second game against Ecuador the other week. 2 minutes of injury time. Macarthur SC just 1 goal down. Aiden Simmons goes down. No foul. How the Bulls would love a sneaky goal late here in the first half just to get it back on level terms. They've deserved it, in my opinion. Defensively, for much of the half, have been pretty strong. Giving it away, though, that's poor. Ninkovic is here. Here's Traore, who'll hit it first time. That's a great block. And the second strike just goes wide. Was it Neuenhoff? It was. 1 minute to go in the half. Callum Neuenhoff close to making it 2-0. Valhoon says here McLaren only pens and tap-ins. Barilla scores weldies. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Nick says, I constantly wish McLaren would transfer his form from Melbourne City to the Socceroos, but he never seems able to. Here's a corner for Wanderers, comes in, gets headed clear. Neuenhoff regathers and will play it back. Flick down the right-hand side. Seconds remaining, but Wanderers still attacking here. 10 seconds to go, and second goal would be incredibly frustrating for Macarthur to concede. Looney. Half time. Pretty entertaining game of football so far. Macarthur have looked to hit on the counter-attack, but it's Western Sydney Wanderers who have had the bulk of the opportunities, leading 1-0, courtesy of Brandon Barola's fantastic strike from outside the box. Oh, boy. All right, let's jump into the chat. Let's talk A-League. Let's talk Matildas, Socceroos, whatever we want to talk about. Decent half, says Falcon. It was a decent half of football. I didn't mind it. Hey, Luke is in the chat, says Perth Glory are fourth on the home table. There you go. I actually didn't know that. I guess it's not too surprising. They've been really solid at home overall this season. Perth Glory beating some good sides at home. Speaking of the ladder, let's pull that up now. Let's have a look at how it stands with the way this result's going. Western Sydney Wanderers would love to get themselves into the top two come the end of the season. Here we go. Way it stands, Wanderers still sitting in fourth position, just behind Mariners on goal difference. Just two behind on goal difference there. Macarthur SC, a loss for them. Obviously, they would move up the ladder. Keeps them down in 11th spot. Result for Melbourne Victory. It's interesting to see that Melbourne Victory, you can see just at the very bottom there, the ladder. -4 on the goal difference. Macarthur SC -15 on the goal difference. Second worst defense in the league this season. Even a draw for Victory tomorrow would mean Macarthur SC, as it stands, would slip down to bottom. There you go. Lucas says, Glory fans are going for Western Sydney in this game. Indeed they are. Indeed they are. And you could say the same thing for Brisbane, Newcastle, Western, all those sides. Even Sydney FC. But the way the ladder's shaping up is going to make for some really exciting games across the remaining weeks in the A-League. Let's have a look at some of the matches that we have left over for this weekend. Melbourne Victory, Perth Glory. Melbourne City, Wellington Phoenix. Two Amy Park clashes to finish off for us. And then let's have a little look ahead to next week. 6 matches, 6 tasty matches, Friday nights. Big game for both of these sides. We're struggling at the moment. Newcastle Jets, Macarthur SC, Friday night next week. That'll be an interesting game. Two sides who would love a win. Newcastle especially, back at home, need to get 3 points there if they want to be playing finals football. If they don't win that game, I think Newcastle will well and truly miss out this season on finals. Huge game on Saturday afternoon for Mariners, hosting the ladder leaders, Melbourne City. That's the one to keep an eye on. I'll be at that one. Central Coast Mariners having their annual pink round against the league leaders, Melbourne City. Saturday night, prime time, 2 big clubs. Western Sydney Wanderers, Melbourne Victory. Should be Wanderers win. Melbourne Victory need 3 points if they want to play finals. So that could be a really entertaining game. And then we've got 3 Sunday games next week. That'll be fun. We've got Wellington Phoenix taking on Brisbane Roar. Wellington Phoenix playing at Eden. Is it Eden Park for this one? Because I think they played their last game. Where does it say that? Down the bottom. There you go, Eden Park. I think they played their last game at Westpac Stadium this season already, haven't they? Taking on Brisbane Roar. You'd think would be a Wellington win, but Brisbane are perhaps heading into that game with a bit of confidence after their 3-0 win against Newcastle earlier today. In the chats, he says, Lucas says, Perth winning tomorrow would be perfect. It would take them into the top 6, so it'd be awesome. Leaf Hacker in the chat says, imagine this, Mariners versus City, final home game, full turnout, base 16, 0, 89th minute. And then Dylan comes on. Dylan wins the halls, passes it to Maresh. The Maresh scores last minute, winner, and base 16 erupts. Absolute scenes. It would be at Central Coast Stadium if that was to take place. It would be a massive result too, because it would take, Mariners would love a top 2 finish. That would be huge. Joel in the chat says, Perth are underrated this season, honestly. Second half of the season has been very strong after a poor start. Yeah, it's a funny thing because if you're a Perth Glory fan and you only say you're a Perth Glory fan that doesn't watch the away games and you just go along to Macedonia Park, you'd think they're in the top 4 for sure, which obviously isn't the case. It's just always the case for Perth, isn't it? They just struggle away from home, which is a real shame because they've got a decent little squad there. Ruben Zakovic actually has done a really decent job. One of the more underrated coaches in the A-League. So, yeah. Yeah, don't mind Perth Glory. Let's keep having a look at next weekend's matches on Sunday. Obviously, Wellington, Brisbane, we just spoke about a moment ago. Sydney FC, Perth Glory. Dude, I know I keep saying it. Another big game. You know why? Let's have a look at the ladder. Bang. Sydney FC, Perth Glory. Goodness me, this could be a battle for 6th place on the ladder. Keep an eye on that one. That'll be on free-to-air next Sunday, Sydney FC, Perth Glory. And then finishing off, Adelaide United to host Western United, which you think should be an easy win for Adelaide United. Western United struggling a little bit moment, fading out towards the end of this season. So some more big games there, man. Some more big games as there always are. We've only got a few weeks left, so let's have a quick look at some of the other big fixtures coming up. Wanderers Phoenix should be a big one. We've got an F3 derby coming up as well. Perth versus Adelaide, Brisbane versus Sydney, some juicy games that weekend. And then the final round of the season, we've got Adelaide United taking on Central Coast Mariners. And at the same time, kicking off is Melbourne City hosting Western Sydney Wanderers. My goodness, what a Friday night. That is one juicy Friday night right there. I can tell you right now, we'll absolutely be doing a watch along for that Friday night, man. I'll definitely obviously be keeping an eye on the Adelaide Mariners game, being a Mariners fan. But that's a huge Friday night of football because that's the top 4 sides competing. And that could dictate who finishes top 2. You want to finish top 2 because you miss out on the elimination finals. You survive a week. Macarthur v Wellington. Sydney v Jets could be huge final round of the season. As could Victory Brisbane, man. As could Perth Western. All those games are like the bottom 6 sides, right? Bottom 6 sides. Am I missing someone? Bottom 6, I think. Yeah, that's right. Sydney FC though. Sorry, in the top 6. That's what I was thinking. Oh my goodness, that last round is going to be epic. It'd be great. Who said it before that there should be simultaneous kickoffs in the last round? I mean, it would be awesome, wouldn't it, if all these were just simultaneous kickoffs? It'd be awesome. Joel in the chat says, Perth is 7th. I think they can easily make the top 6. When you look at the games that Perth have remaining, I mean, let's have a look at Perth specifically here. Let's just scroll through from obviously they got Victory tomorrow, tough game. As it always is at Amy Park. And then they're away to Sydney FC, which is winnable, I would say, for Glory. They did win away to Sydney last season. Daniel Sturridge played in that game, I remember. They've got Adelaide at home, which could be a big one, man. Huge game for Glory. That's the one they need to win. And then they finish off with Western at home. So the 2 home games for Glory at the end. 2 home games for Glory at the end. Could be big for them. That could potentially take them into the top 6. This is a really exciting finish to the A-League season. As we know, this has been one of the tightest seasons to date in the A-League. Again, let's have a little look at the ladder. Ah, man, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If Adelaide started to drop points, which I can't see happening, Wanderers, Mariners could close in on the top 2. Sydney FC. Look, Sydney FC could finish bottom. Sydney FC could still pick up the wooden spoon. Anything can happen. A few moments away from halftime here. It's Macarthur FC 0. Western Sydney Wanderers 1. Good game of football so far. Macarthur FC currently sitting 11th on the ladder. Can they bounce back? Can they get themselves back into this game? Nick says, don't speak the wooden spoon into existence. I'm curious to see. Look, I think if any team's going to pick it up, look, a team that have really been disappointed with this season, and it'd be crazy if they did, is Western United. I mean, imagine if they went from champions to wooden spoon team. That'd be pretty crazy. It'll probably be Melbourne Victory, though. I mean, they've just struggled so much this season. 12 losses. Man, dude, anything can happen. How comical would it be, though, if Sydney FC did pick up the wooden spoon? I mean, Corica would be gone for sure if that happened. Corica would be gone for sure. I mean, you'd assume so. I mean, I thought Corica was going to go after last season. Lucas says, it would be disappointing if Perth don't get top 6. I think considering the season that they've had, it probably would be disappointing. But I think before this season, I think that would have been a massive achievement for Perth Glory to get top 6, considering they were coming off one of the worst seasons in A-League history last time around. One of the worst seasons. Perth Glory were dreadful 12 months ago. Ruben Zakovic has turned it around, put together a nice little squad there with some very talented players. To finish top 6 would have been a big step for Perth Glory. And they could still do it. I'm really excited to watch that victory game tomorrow, man. Victory Glory tomorrow. Should be great. Really, really good game. Really, really good game. Well, and I'd love to see Perth play finals. And look, hey, if Perth finished 6th, Mariners stay 3rd, could be a Mariners-Perth elimination final. Perth beat Mariners away from home this season. Nick says, kind of crazy when you look at Melbourne Victory's goal difference compared to the teams around them. It's very. You're right. I'll have to take a comment off screen because we can just see the ladder there. But look at that, man. I mean, yeah, Melbourne Victory -4. I mean, look at the teams ahead of them. Macarthur -15, Western -13, Newcastle Jets -12. When you look at the goals conceded by Victory, they've only conceded 30 goals, which in the context of the other teams, not just around the better. Dude, hang on. I'm just noticing. Did Melbourne Victory have a fantastic defense? Wait. Why have I not picked up on this? Let's have a look at this right now. Goals against. Do Melbourne Victory have the third best defense in the league? No way. Who'd have thought? So the best defense in the league is West Sydney Wanderers, 21 goals. Sorry, 4th best defense. West Sydney Wanderers have conceded 21 goals. Melbourne City have conceded 27. Brisbane 29. Melbourne Victory 30. Brisbane have the 3rd best defense in the league. Melbourne Victory 4th best defense in the league. Isn't that funny? It is bizarre. And there you go. Joel says Victory conceded less than Adelaide. It is bizarre. It just sums up the A-League. It sums up the A-League. This is why we love it. Anything can happen. Nick says, I don't think anyone noticed Victory having good defense, considering everything else is on fire. I mean, yeah, they've only scored 26 goals, so they've got one of the worst attacks in the league. That goes to the worst attack in the league goes to Brisbane Roar, who've only scored 23 goals in 23 games. 3 of those scored today against Newcastle. Best league in the world indeed, Joel. Big question. Big question regarding Ange Postecoglou. You think Ange is going to be coaching Tottenham next year? Well, for those that don't know, I actually am a Tottenham Hotspur fan. I doubt it, but it would be cool. It would be cool. It would be very cool. I'd love to see Ange coaching the Premier League, man. It'd be great. I think we'd all love to see it. Shadow says there was a team in Italy last year before they got relegated with the best defense. There you go. The bizarre world of football. Yeah, we'd love to see Ange in the Premier League, man. Would love to see it. Only a few minutes until kickoff in the second half of this game. Macarthur down 1-0, losing 1-0 to Western Sydney Wanderers, their rivals. Battle of Western Sydney. Second half shortly getting underway. Macarthur SC. If Macarthur SC turns around, where would a win take them? But if Macarthur win this game, they jump to 7th. And they're 1 point behind Sydney FC. Goal difference. They've got the worst goal difference in the league at the moment, Macarthur SC. Scored 27 for 42 conceded, which doesn't look pretty at all. Yeah. Just back in Ange Postecoglou, Shadow says, I think Ange might get the job because Tottenham hired the guy from Melbourne City as CEO of football. Is that right? I actually didn't know that. Or one of those roles recently. There you go. There you go. Maybe a sneaky little Australian connection there. Nick says, I think Sydney should get rid of Corica no matter how the season ends. I 100% agree. I was in the team. I was in the gang, the group of people that was of the opinion that Sydney should have gotten rid of Corica after last season. I thought that was a pretty underwhelming season for them to miss out in finals. Yeah, I agree. Even if they finish top 6 and maybe get to the semis, I think even they have to move on. They need to change it up there. So they've got a bit of an aging squad still. It's in the FC. They need a bit of a refresh, I think. Sydney FC currently sitting in 6th spot, but might not be there after tomorrow. If Glory can get a result against Melbourne Victory, teams are out on the Bulls' home ground, Campbelltown Stadium, for the second half. Here we go. Macarthur FC kick it off. We've got the second half underway here. Macarthur 0, Wanderers 1. Can the Bulls turn it around? A loss. Isn't it crazy for me? I mean, this just sums up the ladder. If Macarthur do go on to lose this game and Victory win tomorrow, Macarthur will be bottom of the ladder. Here's a chance for the Bulls. Oh, what a chance. Jake Holman places it wide, and it's Macarthur's best chance of the game 20 seconds into the second half. Wow. Great move from the Bulls. That's what you want to see. We didn't see much of that in the first half. Dude, who was that with the cutback? Was it Matt Miller? Matt Miller. Well and truly has been Macarthur's best player this season. He's playing a hybrid left wing back role, whatever it is, tonight, Matt Miller. And he almost teed up Jake Coleman for Macarthur's first goal of the night. Just coming back to CFC, Joel asks, how old is Alex Wilkinson? Because I swear he's been playing forever. Nick says, Wilco is 38. 38. He has been around for a long time. One of the leading appearance stat holders. He's up there, one of the highest appearances in the A-League, isn't he? Wilco. Shadow says, will Miller swing back so much. He does indeed. I mean, that's his best attribute, is the way he attacks. And I'm trying to sort of read this Macarthur formation. It seems to be shifting around a little bit, but it does appear that Miller's playing as like a left wing back and Jake McGing is the right wing back. So it does look like sort of a three at the back, three central defenders. Although right now it looks more like a 4-4-2 with Miller playing as a left winger, like a left midfielder. "47 minutes passed on my broadcast. Ball in behind for Borello. Wanderers on the attack. Second goal would be big for Wanderers here. Borello. You'd have to say it was gone well wide from Borello. You have to say that was a shot because there was plenty of power on that. It's gone well wide. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the stream so far, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button. Helps it a whole lot. And if you're new to the channel, this is Coastal Football, where we do a lot of A-League content, plenty of live watch-alongs. We did one for the Melbourne derby midweek. We enjoyed watching Melbourne City Jets last weekend as well. Nick says, surprised to hear that Lafondra is apparently only 10 goals away from Broski's record for Sydney. Heard it on the commentary yesterday. I didn't know that either. There you go. Adam Lafondra closing in on Sydney FC legend Alex Brosk. Of course, the two used to play together just a couple of years ago. Person 201 says, crazy how Schneiderlin went from Old Trafford to Campbelltown Sports Stadium. It's quite a change of scenery, but look, he's not the first one to do it. Dwight York, of course, formerly of Macarthur FC, former Macarthur FC coach. Of course, former Manchester United legend. Here's Danny De Silva. It's a foul. Jake Holman bringing down Schneiderlin. Morgan Schneiderlin showing his class tonight, his experience. Yeah, you can definitely see the 4-4-2 setup for Macarthur when they don't have the ball. I do recall that. I do recall when Schneiderlin came through at Southampton. That was really when he really made his name in the Premier League. Played at Everton as well, of course. It looks like Jerry Skatardis is warming up for the Bulls. Defensive midfield player. Be interesting to see what Macarthur decided to do with him. Wanderers happy to hold the ball at the back. Macarthur FC, will they push? Will they apply the press? Patience is the name of the game for Wanderers. 50 minutes have ticked by my broadcast here. I'm watching on 10 bold. 10 play app, I should say. But of course, this game available to watch on free to wear across Australia. 10 bold. Oh, here's a chance here. Ninkovic has just poked it through. Lioni getting on the end of it. Good chance. Malfatana was flying in and Curto claims it. Was there a foul involved? In fact, it's a free kick. I want to see a replay of this foul, man. Ben Abraham has just awarded a free kick for Western Sydney Wanderers in a really dangerous position. So it's Ninkovic. Oh, it's a foul. Yep. Easy foul. Very easy foul. Aspropotomedes completely misjudging that one. H. He's in the chat. How's it going, mate? Good to see you. So 51st minute chance here for Western Sydney Wanderers to find their second goal. Free kick in a really good position. Looks like it's Morgan Schneiderlin who's stepping up. No, Brandon Borello, in fact. Borello looking for his second goal tonight. I thought it would have been Schneiderlin to step up. Borello. Up against Philip Curto. Philip Curto, a good goalkeeper. Wall of 4. Set up to defend this one. Borello hit the wall. Still on. Strike. Goes wide. Corner. Neuenhoff strike. Out for a corner. 51 minutes. 52 minutes now I've ticked by. Second goal for the Wanderers here, you'd think would be too much of a mountain for Macarthur to come back from. Fourth corner of the game for West Sydney Wanderers. Whipped in, getting close to the keeper. Curto gets a hand to it, and it will be another corner for the Bulls, for the Wanderers rather. Jonathan Rasparopotomides is down in the box. Copped a knock somewhere. He's up and all right now by looks things. Still on here for the Wanderers. Another corner. Schneiderlin plays back. See, now Wanderers have the lead. They're happy to be patient. That long ball's going to go out of play. Macarthur will have possession back. The Bulls probably thinking about substitutions. So far have been unable to really break down Wanderers, apart from that one opportunity at the start of the second half. When it comes to benches, definitely Wanderers who have them better experience when it comes to the benches. Pizanic, Yangi, and Bakoto to come on for Wanderers. They've got plenty of firepower. And a win here for the Wanderers keeps their hopes of finishing top 2 alive. Dude, Wanderers just knocking it around. Macarthur have no interest in pressing. And at the moment, it's the 2 central defenders and the goalkeeper for Western Sydney Wanderers who are just retaining possession. Now, Lockie Rose looks to press. Well, Macarthur have to do something about this if they want to get themselves back into this game and get themselves in a winning position. Now, Wanderers look to move down the right-hand side. Liuni has been the danger man all night. In front of the RBB, cutting inside. Borello passes back. Can't find a teammate. Still on for Western Sydney. Schneiderlin brings it forward. Ninkovic. So many class players on the park for Wanderers right now, man. This is a star-studded side. One of the strongest Wanderers squads we've seen for the last handful of years. Ninkovic with a clumsy foul and Oglar there. 55 minutes of tick past. Macarthur looking to move it quickly. Holman. That's got to be a foul. He's taken off the ball. Surely. It's play on. Holman was destroyed there. And he's won the ball back. Well done. How is that not a foul? How is that not a foul? Holman was just clattered off the ball there. There's been a couple of questionable decisions here tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing it wrong. Looks like Macarthur are preparing some changes. Al Hassan Toure coming on. Jairus Gatatis as well. Person in 1201 asks, why do you think Australia lack players who are good dribblers and can beat people 1v1? I don't think they do. I think when you look at Brandon Borello, Nestor Nkunda, Garen Kowal, Matthew Leckie, World Cup prime example. Craig Goodwin is a decent dribbler. I don't think Australia lacks good dribblers at all. Nick says, Macarthur haven't really had a sniff since the chance at the start of the second half. They haven't really, eh? They haven't. Wanderers have been It's been a really mature performance from the Wanderers tonight. They've been patient. They found their chance for the goal. Here's a long ball here, though, for Macarthur. Lockie Rose could get on the end of this. He's beaten Beadling to the ball. McGing inside for, that's Uglar. Holman plays it forward. McGing delivers. That was a good, fast and hard ball. Wanderers look like they'll get away here. The counter-attack could be on here. Layuni, he could have taken those two players on, man. He's got the pace. He could have easily broken away there for sure. Amor Layuni, one of the fastest players in the competition. Here comes Jake McGing. Holman, De Silva. They've both been really involved tonight. Ugala moving down the right for Macarthur. Pass is cut off by Schneiderlin. We're approaching the hour mark here. We can expect to see a couple of Bulls substitutions shortly, which is much needed. Keep an eye on Alassane Toure. He could be the game changer in this game. Plenty of pace. Alassane Toure brings. Over an hour and a half into this stream tonight. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate it heaps. Battle of Western Sydney tonight. This week's Saturday primetime match. The newest derby in the A-League. Substitutions for Macarthur. Toure coming on for Uglar. Pretty much a straight swap there. And then it's going to be Skatardis coming on for Jake Holman, who's worked really hard tonight. John says, how good is it to see Amalfitano on the left wing instead of lazy Yengi? I mean, it just shows how versatile Amalfitano is. But yeah, I like it. I like the move. You know, Amalfitano is a class player, and you want to have him on the pitch. Yengi potentially to come off the bench. In fact, there will be a substitution here for the Wanderers, and it's Layuni who's coming off at the hour mark to be replaced by Yenny and Bikoto. Straight swap there on the wing for Western Sydney Wanderers. Layuni has ran his heart out tonight for Western Sydney Wanderers and has been one of the most dangerous players tonight, Western Sydney Wanderers. Person 12-1 says, do you think an Aussie club will win the AFC Europa League thing next year? I assume you're talking about the AFC Cup. AFC Cup, which is going to be, I think the two sides get to the AFC Cup, if I'm right. I think Melbourne City have now qualified for the Champions League. And I think two sides, I think Macarthur might be one of them because they won the Cup, right? Qualify. It was really confusing this year for some reason. I was reading up about it. But I think two sides compete. Yeah, maybe. I don't think Macarthur, I can't see Macarthur going that far. They don't have the best squad depth, Macarthur FC. But look, if it's Adelaide United, if it's someone else who manages to grab that second spot in the AFC Cup, potentially they could go far. Would love to see it, but I doubt it. John says, I think he's been, Amalfitano has been Western Sydney Wanderers signing of the season. So versatile and an absolute workhorse. He's absolutely up there. He's been fantastic. I mean, there's a few Wanderers players you could put up there as signing of the season. Marcelo, Amalfitano. Earlier we were talking about Layuni. But absolutely, yeah, super versatile. I remember against Perth a few weeks back, that away game against Perth, I think Amalfitano played right back. So we've seen him play several positions this season. And he's done a job every time. Very good player, Amalfitano. Very smart player. You can tell he's very smart. Thinks about what he's doing on the football pitch. And here he is now on the ball, Amalfitano, looking for that long pass. And commentators curse as he plays it up, he loses possession. So still much of the game being played through the middle third. Macarthur really unable to push forward. Here comes Simmons. He's had a good game tonight. Aiden Simmons. This is a good run. He's cut it back for Koto. Good turn. And Macarthur still trying to get it away. Still on. The back heel will roll through to Koto. Shadow says, feels like Western Sydney are going to score again. Every time they move forward, they're looking dangerous, Wanderers. And look, if a second goal, I think will kill the game off. I think that'll be too much for Macarthur to come back from. They could find it here, Wanderers. This Ninkovic, who's been pretty heavily involved tonight. Schneiderlin's moved out to the left. Traore now. That'll be a corner. Corner, Western Sydney Wanderers. Can they make this one work out? Western Sydney Wanderers, Schneiderlin. Low cross is cleared. Throw in. Shadow says, Barella might just be my favorite player in the indie league right now. I'm sure he is for many people. He's really exciting to watch, plays with a lot of passion. And arguably Wanderers' best player this season on the score sheet already tonight. And you can see him, how much he gets involved in the play, playing as a striker. You can tell he really cares about the club too and the team. He wants the team to succeed. Does Barella? Person 1201 has an interesting statement here in the chat. It's on the screen for you now. It says, you know how people complain about low attendances in the A-League? But is this a problem in soccer leagues all around the world due to it being much easier now to watch the best leagues online? Maybe. Look, it's a fair point. Like it's a fair thing to bring up. I don't think so. Look, there's nothing that beats going to the game. You know, if you're a fan, nothing beats going to a game and experiencing it live and the atmosphere. But maybe it's contributed it to a little bit, but I don't think so to a massive extent. But it is certainly a fair point to raise. He's Danny De Silva down the right for the Macarthur FC. Good chance for Macarthur FC. They managed to get it away. De Silva. Toure chipping it in. This is a good little passage of play from Macarthur FC. 65 minutes have ticked by on the broadcast. Macarthur FC, good piece of play here. Wanderers looks like it's breaking down here. Okay. So let's see if Macarthur can sort of get... The problem for the Bulls is they've really struggled to get the ball at the other end of the pitch. They've been pinned back so much of this game by Wanderers. Toure, right wing. Good ball. That's a great pass. Great chance, Macarthur. It's 1-1. It's Lockie Rose who scores. Brilliant move. And he's wearing the captain's armband tonight. Lockie Rose has just equalised for Macarthur FC. That was a really, really nice goal. Really, really nice goal from Lockie Rose. Was it McGinn with the cross? How good was that? 1-1. We're back. Bulls fans love it. That's a big goal for a player who spent the entirety of the Bulls' existence at the club. Ball in behind, teed up fantastically. It was Toure. Oh, dude, the pass from Toure was delightful. And McGing to tee up Rose. And Wanderers, the defense has been breached. Brock says, love the knee slide. Lockie Rose, 4th goal of the season. 10 matches. Missed a good chunk of the season through injury, unfortunately, for Macarthur. 66th minute he scored. Lockie Rose. 1-1. We're back. Just when it looked like Wanderers were continuing to dominate, getting close to a second goal, it's 1-1. It's all even. This is going to set up for a really exciting final 25 minutes or so. How do Wanderers respond to that? McGing shifting the ball forward now for Toure. Back for De Silva. All of a sudden, the Bulls just have a bit of a spring in their step now. Playing with a bit more intensity, a bit more direction. Playing with a bit more fight. Skatanis moves it forward for Miller. Kieran Backus. Former Western Sydney Wanderer, it should be said. In defensive midfield for the Bulls tonight. Here he is on the ball. Here we go. Don't forget, a win here for the Macarthur Bulls. They'll jump up 4 spots in the ladder. But a loss, or even a draw, I think, means that they could potentially be bottom of the ladder if victory win tomorrow. It's got to be a foul. It is for the Wanderers, relieving a bit of pressure there. Got to agree with you, Brock. In the chat says Toure has been good since coming on. Fantastic involvement in the goal for Macarthur. That pass, though. Can't get over that pass. We've seen some good goals so far this weekend in the A-League. Yellow card for Aspro Potomides for that foul on Borello. Toure chipping it over the top. Traore. Schneiderlin. Morgan Schneiderlin, again out of close to this left wing here. It's good to see him getting so involved. And I've noticed that actually from Wanderers, the central midfielders for Wanderers, Neuenhoff, Schneiderlin. They love to get themselves involved in the game. They don't just sit back. $70 minutes have ticked by. Macarthur 1, Wanderers 1. The game finally balanced right now. What a win this would be for the Bulls if they could turn it around. They've won the ball high up. It's Lockie Rose moving the ball forward here now. Sees De Silva inside. Great chance, McGing. That's a good save, Thomas. It's a really, really good save by Lawrence Thomas. It did indeed require the good save from Lawrence Thomas. Corner. Bulls. Macarthur. Looking much better this second half. Jake McGing again getting forward into good positions. Usually we're used to seeing Matt Miller bombing on down the right flank. Tonight it's Jake McGing. It's going to be a Danny De Silva out swinging corner here. That's a low delivery. Flicked away only as far as Bacchus. Space. Decent amount of space there, I think, for McGing it was. Toure, decent delivery. Flicked on. It wasn't too far away from Lockie Rose, that one. Could have had another goal there. Al Hassan Toure has looked real dangerous since coming on. Has provided a spark for this Macarthur team. West Sydney Wanderers have only made one change at this point. Yanni Bikoto. Still got Bazanik. Yangi, you could come in as well. That's a good ball in from Traore. It's going to be a corner for West Sydney Wanderers. Game's starting to open up a little bit now. Speaking of substitutions, looks like Cassini Yangi's about to come on. Really nice ball over the top for Traore. Wanderers win themselves a corner. Corner coming in now for Wanderers. Near post should be dealt with. It's going to be a foul on Neuenhoff. Foul given away by Skatardis. Brock says, did you see that Yangi might be heading to Newcastle this season? I did see that rumor. And look, it doesn't surprise me that much just because I feel like Cassini Yangi, I mean, he was on the bench. Oh, not on the bench. He struggled last season with injury, didn't he, at Adelaide? But I mean, he's playing as a winger. West Sydney Wanderers. I feel like he just wants to play as a striker. He really, really wants to play as a striker. I feel like that's his best position. And he performed well in that position at Adelaide. So maybe that's why. Maybe they're looking for a new striker. He's the free kick for the Wanderers in Bikoto. That's a terrible cross. It's gone straight out of play from Mbikoto. So Yengi's come on to replace Schneiderlin, which means Amalfitano will move back to midfield. Yengi to play off the left wing. Will it be interesting to see if that move does eventuate Yengi to Newcastle? Here's a ball over the top for Macarthur. Good chance for them. Cross comes in. It's going to fall for Jake McGing, who hits. Oh, dude. That wasn't too far away for Jakey McGing, who's had a good game tonight. Offside flags up, though. Good chance. You get to say the second half it's leveled up a little bit in terms of chances. They're showing the live ladder on the broadcast right now, and if Bulls draw this game, there's 4 teams level on 26 points. A point for Wanderers would take them to 35 points, 2 behind the Mariners. 2 behind the Mariners. Ninkovic, good pass for Traore. Delivers. Throw in. Wanderers in a good position here. Ninkovic, seen a lot of the ball tonight. Been heavily involved. Wanderers trying to force their way through to get a shot away here. There's plenty of Bull shirts in the way. All right. Broadcast for me just ticking by 76 minutes. 76 minutes on my broadcast. It's going to be an intense final stages of this game. Jed Drew's coming on. That's the kind of player you want later on in the game. Plenty of pace, Jed Drew. He's coming on to replace Matt Miller, who's probably had a relatively quiet game on left midfield. but more of a natural midfielder coming on now, Jed Drew, to play off the left wing. Person 12-1 saying, Drew really impressed me at the AFC under 20 Cup. Brock says, good to see Dylan Wenzel Halls on the score sheet for Mariners. It was indeed. It was indeed. Just the second game for the Mariners. Scored against his former side. First goal for the Mariners. Hopefully first of many for Dylan Wenzel Halls. Here come the Bulls with some decent little play down the right wing. Cross comes in. Can't find a teammate. Barella can bring it away. Jed Drew chasing him down. Well done. Barella just gets the pass away. Yellow card for Simmons. Macarthur 1, Wanderers 1. Simmons just dragging back Jed Drew there. Easy yellow card. Easiest decision of the night for referee Ben Abraham. Yankee surely brought down his man chasing the ball there. Looks like he just hacked into the back of McGing. 2 changes coming up for Western Sydney Wanderers. Looks like it's going to be Oli Bozanic and Nicholas Milanovic providing some midfield support. Bozanic coming on for Malfitano. Malfitano's worked hard tonight. Decent replacement to bring on Oli Bozanic, who hasn't had the most minutes as a starting player tonight. This season, I should say. And it's going to be Nicholas Milanovic who's coming on to replace Milos Nikovic. Wanderers again building up from the back. When you look at the two sides and the way they've built up an attack, Wanderers much more patient of the two sides, that's for sure. Did Barello play in Germany as a winger? I believe so. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, he's been a winger for much of his career. Macarthur utilising him as a striker for most of this season. And he's really relished that role, I reckon. He looks good there. Loves combining with his teammates, coming back, getting involved in the build-up play. But look, he's a versatile player. He could easily play out as a winger, of course, as well. $80 minutes have ticked past in this game. Heading into the final 10 minutes of regular time. Macarthur 1, Wanderers 1. It's Moody Najjar who's preparing to come on for Macarthur FC. Player who would probably come on as a striker under previous leadership, Ante Milicic last season. Najjar was playing much, mostly in a wingback position. Craig Noonan looking to come on as well. That's 2 good substitutions to bring on. That's a nice forward pass. Western Sydney Wanderers could find a second goal here. Both teams searching for the winner, but that's well done in defence. Nicholas Milanovic is having a real word to the linesman there. Not happy with the decision. De Silva. Danny De Silva's worked hard this game too. His pass goes astray. Looks like Mbakota's moved to that number 10 position for Wanderers. Milanovic playing out on the right. Two subs for Macarthur getting ready to come on. Two decent players to bring on in Najar and Noon. It'll be interesting to see who they bring off too. Perhaps the front two for the Bulls. De Silva and Rose. Rose has had a good game tonight, though. Of course, grabbed the first one and only goal tonight for Macarthur. Have we seen the crowd attendance for this game? Have we seen the attendance number? It's probably been Macarthur's biggest crowd for this season. Bulls have won the ball high at the park. Good chance here for Macarthur. Rose delivers. In fact, it was Jed Drew with a cross. Wanderers can clear. Foul and an easy yellow card back is on Mbakoto. The referee was like pulling out the yellow while the foul was still happening there. And is that going to be another free kick? It is. Joe Scatardis, the judge to have brought down Mbakoto. Getting Mbakoto picking up a couple fouls in a matter of minutes. Late subs being made here for Macarthur FC. Danny De Silva. He's running his legs off this game. He's coming off. Mooney Najar on. And it does appear to be Lockie Rose coming off as well. Craig Noon taking the armband. Craig Noon. That's the kind of experience you want coming onto the park late on. Do Macarthur go for it here? Do they hold on to the point? Here's Wanderers free kick. Bazanik whips it in. Another poor delivery. Last two free kicks from Wanderers have been really poor. First in Mbakoto, now Bazanik. Very bizarre deliveries have been gone straight out of play. So, 5 minutes remaining in regular time. Hasn't been too many stoppages this second half. Hasn't been any VAR checks as far as I'm aware. Hasn't really been any injuries at all as well this second half. So there shouldn't be too much stoppage time. Following full time, we'll have a look at the ladder, how it stands, what it looks like for the remaining two games this round. Of course, Sunday afternoon, we've got Melbourne Victory taking on Perth Glory in what is a huge game for both sides. Glory, a win for them, could see them jump into the top 6. Monday, Easter Monday, Melbourne City are hosting Wellington Phoenix. Top 6 clash, that one. I reckon a win for Melbourne City on Monday could well and truly win them the Premier's Plate. Might be too far for Adelaide to catch them. It'd be a big gap, 7-point gap, I think, for Melbourne City, which might be too much heading into the final weeks of the season. Middle of the park. Good turn. Neuenhoff. He's played it over the top for Mikoto. This is a good chance for Wanderers. Can they find the winner? Could be a big one for them if they do. Still in the box. Macarthur getting players in the way. Look, credit to the Bulls who have defended pretty well for much of this game, man. Macarthur looking to get on the counter-attack here. 4 players coming up in attack. Really opening up here now. Cassini Yengi getting back to help out in defense. That'll be a Bulls throw. Brock says, what happened with Bozanic and Central Coast Mariners? It's a bit of a bizarre one. It's a bit of a bizarre one. Bozanic was obviously captain at Mariners and then left, had an opportunity at West Sydney Wanderers. Brock also says, I want Glory to make the top 6. I think a lot of people do, just from a neutral point of view. Curto coming out quickly to claim that one, stopping it from getting through to Milanovic. 87 minutes have been played now. Macarthur 1, Wanderers 1. Alex XG says, I want Wellington and Perth final in Sydney. I've seen so many people say that. That would be quite an interesting one to see that play out. Ball over the top for West Sydney Wanderers in a good position here. Brandon Brello, great chance. Getting back there. Was it Aspro again? Jonathan Aspro has been pretty strong this game too. In fact, it was Ollie Jones getting a rare appearance in the A-League. Wanderers bench looks on nervously. That team could potentially drop points for the second week in a row. Bozanic's corner, close to the keeper. Curto claims that one. He's been good tonight, Curto. Counter-attack could be on here for Macarthur FC. Down the right-hand side, Bacchus. Good little work with the feet there. And surely that's a foul. It is. Kieran Bacchus. Well done. 4 minutes of out of time. 4 minutes of out of time here. Craig Noon down the left. Macarthur in a good position. Teed it up for Toure. Oh, it's in! Macarthur score! Al Hassan Toure, the super sub, to set up the first goal for the Bulls and scores the second. Absolute scenes at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. What a fantastic strike. Al Hassan Toure. Brock says, oh my word. Super strike. Fantastic move. And a game which has been greatly dominated by the Western Sydney Wanderers. Macarthur have turned it around in the second half. Craig Noon teeing up Toure. What a finish. What a goal. First time into the near post. That's a superb finish. Joel says West Sydney Wanderers have West Sydney Wanderers has bottled that after all their chances. Absolutely. The chances that they've had. Wanderers should have been up 3-4 goals now. Craig Noon, the substitutes combining, cutting in, teeing it up. That's a really, really good goal. That's a really difficult finish by Toure, and he's managed to pull it off. Super subs. Super subs. Wow. Scoreline is up 2-1, Macarthur. This is a huge result. This is a huge result if it stands. Final moments. Wanderers need to push here. There's barely minutes remaining in this injury time period. The way it stands, we'll have a look at the ladder. We'll have a look at the ladder after full time here. And the way it looks for all the teams in the league. But as it stands, Macarthur are going to win this game. Macarthur will be jumping up a number of spots on the ladder. The Bulls, miraculous. Wanderers with the class players on the pitch. Wanderers could be set to lose their 2 consecutive games here. We haven't seen that much this season. Is that a foul? Cassini Yengi. Just going in a bit too strongly there on Jake McGing, who's gone down holding his head. We hope he's all right. Gee whiz, definitely a bit too strong there from Cassini. Was that either the elbow or the head in the back of McGing? Maybe the head. Maybe just the shoulder. They've just cut to Marco Rudan. Oh my god. They've just cut to Marco Rudan, and he is filthy on the bench right now. He's going off. Just to himself. He's not talking to the ref or anything. He's just sitting there in his chair. He just spat and everything. He doesn't look like a happy man. Oh boy. Not long left. 20 seconds according to injury time. Coming down the left-hand side here now, West Sydney Wanderers, Milanovic. This is a good run. This is a superb run from Milanovic, who tees it up. And it's going to be a Wanderers corner. That is a fantastic run from substitute Nicholas Milanovic, who's going to set up a late corner here for the Wanderers. Macarthur FC have worked so hard to get back into this game. Injury time has expired. The delivery still on Borrello. Headed away. Surely that's time. Injury time has expired for sure. Still we go on. Oh, terrible challenge. It's a shocking tackle. Craig Noon has axed Aiden Simmons. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, both players are okay, but Aiden Simmons went flying there. Oh my goodness. Let's have a look at this replay. Craig Noon. Oh my God. That's a terrible challenge. Easy yellow card for Craig Noon. Glad Aiden Simmons is okay because he got sent just then. And Bakoto, free kick. Surely this has to be the last play of the game. We're almost a full minute expired over injury time. And Bakoto's delivery. It's in. It's 2-2. It's Borrello. Insane finish. Insane finish to the Battle of the West. Miles Stajovski, the Macarthur coach, isn't happy. But it looks like they're going to hold on. To a point here, the Wanderers, Borrello, to rescue it. Marco Rudan still doesn't look happy at all. It's 2-2. Well, it all started with a terrible challenge from Noon and Bakoto's delivery. Is everyone on side? Oh, that's remarkable. What a header. Somehow it's gone all the way through from Borrello's header. Oh, it's a cruel blow from Macarthur FC. And it's got to be the last kick of the game. Surely that's got to be it. It is. Full time. Insane finish to the game. Oh my gosh. Insane finish. Valhoon says PK League. PK League. Joel says we all love A-League. We do indeed love the A-League. Absolute seeds here at the end. Battle of the West. One of the newest derbies in the A-League. And my goodness, was that quite the game. Macarthur FC thought they'd done it. Wanderers dominating much of that first half. Marco Rodan, the Wanderers coach, still doesn't look too happy. Wanderers probably felt like they deserved 3 points from that game. Macarthur, goals through Lockie Rose and Alhassan Toure, thought they had the win. You can see the Macarthur players. They look like they've lost. Both teams look like they've lost the game. Both teams, the players look like they've both lost the game. It's a bizarre feeling. But my goodness, it's a point. Let's have a look at how that looks on the ladder. Shadow says Macarthur choked that one. Well, here's the thing. You could probably say that both teams choked. I think Wanderers had so many chances to score. They really should have had 4 or 5 goals tonight. West Sydney Wanderers. They only had the one that allowed Macarthur to get back. Macarthur should have held on. So I reckon both teams choked. Let's have a look at how it looks now on the ladder. Macarthur 2. West Sydney Wanderers 2. Dude, if Macarthur had won that game, they would have jumped to 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4. That late goal to Brandon Borrello just sent Macarthur down 4 positions on the ladder. That's not an exaggeration. That late header in the last touch of the game, last kick of the game, sent Macarthur down 4 spots on the ladder. Macarthur were on the edge of the top 6 if they'd won that game. For West Sydney Wanderers, they dropped points again. Man. West Sydney Wanderers still in 4th position, 35 points. Oh, we love the drama. We love the absolute scenes. Western Sydney Wanderers sitting 4th on the ladder, Macarthur 11th, but anything can still happen. Look at this. Look how congested it is here from 8th till 11th. There's 4 teams who have all played this round and sit on 26 points. 26 points. And none of these teams have won in the last 3 games. How about that? Really fascinating when you look at how it's shaping up in the run-in to finals. And Shadow, I absolutely agree with you here. Let's put this comment up on the screen. Shadow in the chat says 6th place to last place are literally having a mid-off. It seems like no one wants to actually finish 6th. That's what it seems like. I mean, Sydney FC are holding on somehow holding on. Look, Perth Glory play tomorrow against Melbourne Victory. If Glory win tomorrow, away to Victory, which would be huge for them, they could jump into the top 6. Brisbane Roar, a big win for them today. Melbourne Victory, a win for them, could lift them above a handful of teams there and bring them to the edge of the top 6 as well. It's fascinating stuff. So plenty still going on. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button if you have enjoyed the stream tonight, and hit subscribes to make sure you stick around and stay updated to all the live watch-alongs that'll be happening through to the end of the season. We've got a whole bunch coming up in the final weeks of the regular season and into finals. What a game. Such insanity. Guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Easter weekends. Happy Easter. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday nights. And just as I said, Shadow jumping in with a happy Easter. Guys, hope you have a nice, safe weekend. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the football. We've got Victory Glory tomorrow afternoon. We've got City Wellington on Monday, Easter Monday. Plenty of football still to come, and plenty of excitement, I'm sure. My name's Lockie. This is Coastal Football. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday nights. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.